Los Angeles Abrasion test. The objective of this experiment is to determine the abrasion value of coarse aggregate by using the Los Angeles testing machine with an abrasive charge. Okay, the Los Angeles abrasion test is carried out on aggregates in order to determine the hardness and abrasion characteristics, that is, the ability to resist degradation due to the imposed wheel load. Okay, the principle of this test is to determine the percentage of wear due to deliberate rubbing action between the aggregates. So the apparatus used here is a Los Angeles abrasion machine, abrasive charge, sieve shaker, trowel and the weighing machine. IS code used is IS 2386 part 4 1963 and IS 383 1970. So this is the apparatus used here in this experiment. This is the Los Angeles testing machine. Okay, so the machine shall consist of a hollow steel cylinder closed at both ends, having an inside diameter of 700 mm and an inside length of 500 mm. Okay, so the position of the shelf shall be such that the distance from the shelf to the opening measured along the circumference of the cylinder, okay, in the direction of rotation shall not be less than 1250 mm. So you can see here, these are the various apparatus used in this experiment. The Los Angeles machine, okay, has a circular rotating drum of length 520 mm, okay, and internal diameter, that is 700 mm, which is mounted on horizontal axis. Okay, so an abrasive charge, okay, it consisting of cast iron spherical balls of 48 mm diameter and weight is 340 to 445 grams is placed in the cylinder along with the aggregates based on the selected grading. So the number of the abrasive spears varies according to the grading of the sample. So the quantity of the aggregates to be used depends upon the grading. So this is the sieve shaker, trowel and the weighing machine. Okay, so the aggregates, they undergo significant wear and tear throughout their life. Okay, so the aggregates used on the surface of the highway pavements, as you all know, they are subjected to wearing due to the movement of the traffic. So when the vehicles move on the road, the soil particles which are present between the pneumatic tires and the road surface cause abrasion of the road aggregates. So the road aggregates should be hard enough to resist the abrasion. So this resistance to abrasion of aggregates is determined in the laboratory by Los Angeles testing machine. Okay, so the aggregates used in the road construction should be strong enough to resist the abrasion and the crushing under the traffic wheel load. So if the aggregates, they are weak, the stability of the pavement structure is adversely affected. So if the aggregates used are not resistant to abrasion, it may cause premature failure or a loss of the skid resistance of pavements. Along also poor resistance to abrasion can produce excessive dust. So abrasion test is carried out on the aggregate sample to test the hardness property of the aggregates and to decide whether they are suitable for different pavement construction works. So the Los Angeles test is widely used to test the abrasion of the aggregates, and the method has been standardized in India, okay, IS 2386 part 4. So the Los Angeles abrasion test is carried out on the aggregates to determine the hardness and the abrasion characteristics, that is, the ability to resist degradation to the imposed wheel load. So the Los Angeles abrasion test finds a percentage wear due to the relative rubbing action between the aggregate and the steel balls. Aggregate abrasion value according to reference from IS 383 1970. So the abrasion value of aggregates when tested in accordance with the method specified in IS 2386 part 4 1963 using the Los Angeles machine shall not exceed these values, that is, for aggregates to be used in concrete for wearing surface shall not exceed 30%, and for aggregates to be used in other concrete shall not exceed 50%. Then grading of test samples according to reference IS 2386 part 4 1963. So the various gradings A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, and this is the sieve sizes okay, that is passing in mm and retained on in mm. So we need to select the grading of the test samples. Then selection of number of spheres. According to the grading selected, we have to select the number of spheres. If it is B grading to be used, then we have to select 11 number of spheres. If it is D, we need to select 6 number of spheres. Coming to the procedure. So the test sample shall consist of clean aggregates which has been dried in an oven and shall conform to one of the gradings which are shown in the table. Okay, so the grading used shall be those most nearly representing the aggregates which are furnished for the work. So coming to the procedure, so the test sample and the abrasive charge shall be placed in the Los Angeles Abrasion testing machine, and the machine is rotated at a speed of 20 to 33 revolutions per minute. So for gradings, if it is A, B, C and D, then the machine shall be rotated for 500 revolutions. So if your grading selected is A, you have to rotate the machine for 500 revolutions. Similarly for B, C and D, rotate the machine for 500 revolutions. Suppose your grading selected is E, F and G, it shall be rotated for 1000 revolutions. Okay, so the machine shall be so driven and so counterbalanced as to maintain a uniform peripheral speed. So after at the completion of the test, the material shall be discharged from the machine and a preliminary separation of the sample made on the sieve which is coarser than 1.7 mm IS sieve. Okay, the material coarser than 1.7 mm is weighed. Observation and result. Note down the grade of the sample used. Note down the original weight of the sample, that is W1. Then note down the weight of the aggregates retained on 1.7 mm sieve, that is W2. Find out the percentage weight using this formula, W1 minus W2 upon W1, where W1 is the original weight of the sample and W2 is the weight of the aggregates retained on 1.7 mm sieve.